Welcome back to the Mic Drop. Today's episode is a very special one. I am joined here with Dr. Kaveh Gabousi and Trish Gabousi of Madison Smile Solutions. They are a husband and wife dream team leading the practice with a shared vision, but from very different perspectives. So in this episode, we're going to explore how VideaAI is changing their clinical decision-making, helping in patient conversations, and really just influencing their day-to-day operations. We want to talk about, what the journey has looked like from both sides of the practice. Dr. Kaveh, Trish, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
It's nice to join you. Thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely. All right, let's dive in. I would love for you both to share just a little bit about your background. Take us, all the way back to when you decided to open your practice and how you started working together. And we want to learn a little bit more about Madison Smile Solutions.
Well, I'm Dr. Kaveh, and Madison Smile Solutions has been open since 2009. We met and started working together before that. But it's been a great run. We've got lots of different technologies that we've implemented over the years, and we're going to talk about VideaHealth's AI X-ray stuff today. But we're used to implementing new technology because the field's changing so much.
Yeah, and we are, I would say, a moderately sized family practice. We have 3.5 hygienists. Dr. Kaveh is our current only dentist, and he has 2.5 assistants, and we have 2 to 3 front office people. So yeah, we're a nice small family practice. We both worked kind of corporate before, and really like the opportunity to provide the type of experience we both grew up with, where you kind of saw the same dentist and the same hygienist and had a really nice relationship-based practice.
That's awesome. And you're still married. So that's a win. All right. I'm gonna start with you, Dr. Kaveh. So before VideaAI entered the picture, what were some of the biggest challenges and things that you were facing? You can speak to clinical or operationally, like was there something specific that you were dealing with that you thought, we need to explore this technology?
The way I think about it now is like the way I thought about cell phones when cell phones first came out. I thought, why would I want one? I didn't have the experience of having one, so I didn't understand the impact it would have. But then I got one and I thought, how did I ever do anything without it?
Yep.
So with the AI technology for X-rays, I was a little skeptical as to what the benefit would be at first. But the reason I went with it was because I wanted to become a more effective diagnoser. And I thought I was already a really good diagnoser, of caries and bone loss and things like that. But the documentation that it provided, the way things are highlighted and colored, I knew would help me be able to convey to patients what's going on in their mouth and provide a higher level of communication with our patients. And that was really attractive to me. And I thought maybe the AI would be able to find things that I wouldn't be able to find on the X-rays. And that's really where the big surprise came in, because it was highlighting and pointing out so many things that I think as a general, or as any kind of dentist knows, X-rays aren't like the be all and end all of diagnosis. They're definitely not perfect. Any dentist that's worked for more than a day will tell you that sometimes cavities just don't show up on X-rays in a detectable way. And if you're not careful, you can miss decay, and you can miss the opportunity to help your patients early on in treatment. And that's really what I was hoping for. And basically what the software did was it blew my mind wide open.
That's awesome. That's great. Trish, you are unique because you're operational. So you're a practice manager for Madison Smile Solutions, but you're also a hygienist.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay. So you have 2 different perspectives. And how did you think through that? Let's be honest. Were you receptive to the idea of a new technology? Because as a hygienist myself, I used to be one of those that was a little bit more hesitant. So what did you think about from both sides of that spectrum as you were thinking about it?
When Dr. Kaveh said, hey, let's listen to this, I think it's nice because someone calls you and tells you about it, and from an office manager side, I'm like, well, how much does it cost? That's what you want to know first.
Uh-huh.
How much does it cost? And am I going to be able to get my team on board? So yes, as a hygienist, we're being challenged as a healthcare provider that sees patients more often than usually their own doctor. We are doing a lot more things than just cleaning people's teeth. So try to fit in something else. I was a little worried, is this going to work? But I have to say, it's been super easy to implement. The cost out, the benefits outweigh the cost for sure. And what I think is awesome is that our hygienists and even myself, when practicing in seeing patients, it's so easy to use, and it's really been an easy thing to implement. That's been a win for our patients and a win for our team, and then really helps from a practice standpoint. So yeah, I wasn't excited about it, to be totally honest. Just thought I was like, oh great, I'm gonna have to convince
Yeah,
them.
one more thing to add to the busy day. It's a common misconception to thinking about, adopting a new technology because you have so many moving parts in dentistry. The day is incredibly busy. You have a lot of different team members, and so this isn't a unique perspective. We've had other organizations, whether it be individual practices, DSOs. It's always, what's the bottom line? What is the outcome that this technology is going to provide for us to, face these types of fears, in cost, in training and change management and all of those things. So it is nice to hear that, yeah, you weren't super excited about it, but the benefit is there, and it kind of helps keep that, in the back of your mind as you think about adopting, other technologies and things like that. I want to dive into just more of like a specific example, how VideaAI has potentially, changed your care delivery, the communication, your workflow, right? So you talked, Dr. Kave, about the x-rays, right? That's a big component of it. You have the exam. How did you see a shift in what you're communicating to your patients when you adopted the technology?
Oh gosh, so that patients love it so much more than I had anticipated originally,
Great.
because you can actually, when you're talking, I would, in the past, I would talk to patients about, oh, you have a lot of areas of incipient decay between your teeth. They don't need fillings yet, but we need to monitor them because if they get bigger, you'll need fillings, blah, blah, blah. And patients were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You could tell they weren't as motivated though. And now when you can actually show them, and they show them the bright yellow and red colors, and they can see in between the teeth where things uh, are going on, they get a lot. You get a lot more buy-in, so that they're owning their problems a lot more, because it's not abstract at that point. If I just tell them it's abstract, if you show them a picture that the computer put together, that's easy for them to see. Patients can't read X-rays, so I never would show patients X-rays in
Right.
the past, because that just confuses people. But this is not confusing. This is enlightening to patients, and they can see it. They understand immediately when you explain what's going on, and then they buy in and get ownership of their problems, and they're more motivated to take action for themselves. And that to me is one of the greatest things. The
That's
other thing,
incredible.
yeah, and the other thing is, like we were talking about before, we can only see a certain amount of grayscale, and so on X-rays, they're not as great as people think. That when they do all these studies and they show that dentists will miss certain cavities, a certain percentage of cavities and things like that. The AI can see so much more grayscale than we can, and it'll highlight things that you would just miss before. And so we're able to diagnose more treatment for patients and take better care of our patients too, which is a, a lot more amazing than I thought it would be, because I thought I'm really great at diagnosing. And then,
You
and
are.
then it's a little humbling, but then it's the first few times it points stuff out to you, or you might see a cavity and think it's a small cavity, and then get in there and it's a huge cavity. Well, the AI does a much better job of highlighting the extent of the decay on the teeth, and it's just it is a little humbling at first, but then once you understand, oh, I'm missing stuff all the time. As good as I am, I'm missing stuff all the time, but everybody is. And
Yeah.
the AI just really helps fill that gap between what we can see and what we can diagnose, and it's really helpful.
Yeah, and I have to say, from a hygienist standpoint, it highlights the calculus, which is
Oh, yeah.
and the bone level. So when you're seeing a first-time patient that you might do, scaling and replaning, or you're seeing them back for perio maintenance appointments, they're asking to see now when we take new X-rays. They want to see. The people want to know.
Yeah, it's great for getting them involved.
And I just genuinely think it's easy. They don't just have to take your word for it when you're probing. We've always been a high perio practice, and all about education, and it's really helped from an education standpoint for the patients, but also, we've had some new grad hygienists, and they're really feeling proud of their work, knowing they're helping the patients and visually seeing it instead of just, mechanically trying to feel that we did a good job. Absolutely. So I think it's like, again, we're just back to that win-win-win, win for patients, win for our team, and win for us. So.
It's phenomenal for perio.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
That's awesome. Every patient has a different learning style, right? And I like the fact that you said, I'm not going to point to an X-ray. Nobody knows gray, black, white scale. It doesn't make sense to them. Incorporating educational materials really help driving that conversation at the point of care, right? Within the operatory, right in that moment. And it's exciting. We don't want to think about our patients in terms of like limiting that, they're not interested, or they don't want to engage. It sounds like your patients are willing and ready and want to understand and want to take, accountability and control in those types of situations. So it's great that you have the ability to really formulate that and integrate it into your, exam workflow and your hygiene workflow. Trish, on the admin side of it, do you feel that that's kind of helped in terms of treatment planning and presenting and just having those conversations? So they're bought in, in the operatory with Dr. Cave. You're having additional conversations, I'm imagining, as they're, trying to think through the care and accept.
Again, it's been great. People say, can you print that for me? Can you send me that printout? Can I take it home? Can I look at where I need to do better? And then also from a office manager or a financial arrangement, someone presenting, it's so easy to say, we try to do lifetime treatment planning, and we don't like to nickel and dime people. So if you can see, okay, we have 5 red areas and we're going to address those, but you have 12 yellow areas. And again, these are like what Dr. Cave says, incipient cavities or pre-cavities or baby cavities, whatever people want to call them. It's really motivational for people to step up or know, like, okay, next time when you come in, we're not just making this up. We can like compare and contrast. We can check what it was before. And I think that's really helped. And I think our patients, the visual learning is helpful. It's helpful to teach other front office staff what he's seeing. Again, it's not just about the patient. It's about being able to teach and educate and see. And it's, I call it robot dentist. Robot dentist saw this and robot dentist sees this, but Dr. Cave thinks this. It's nice to have, it's like a free second opinion. It's another set of eyes. That's kind of the way we present it. And sometimes it's just really helpful that from the aspect of presenting treatment to say we have, 12 watches or 4 watches, or, we're not in the business to watch things get bigger. So what can we do about it?
I love that. Yeah. Preventative, proactive, and just as early as possible. And that's what VideaAI is intended to do, is really assist you, right, in detecting things as early as possible so that you can be proactive. You can provide, the best quality of care, and you can try to prevent, some of the larger, more complex treatments down the line. It's no longer about watching and waiting. It's like, what can we do now? Like you just said. I want to think through just some of the measurable impacts. So you've used this product for quite some time now. Have you seen any changes? We've seen some maybe operational improvements, time savings. Your team has adopted it. It's operationalized within your workflow. That's huge. That's wonderful to celebrate. Your engagement is, I'm assuming, quite high. What about some of the other more quantitative impact? Have you seen, any increases in things like case acceptance or, any sort of other types of metrics that you're watching within your practice?
Oh yeah. So, there's on several levels. So one is the level of things that we wouldn't have caught and been able to diagnose and treat So that there's that. There's also the level of patients that hadn't been moving forward with treatment, and now they understand and they're moving forward with treatment. So that's another level. And then there's also treatment that we maybe hadn't been addressing or talking about just because it's not something that you normally think of. So, for instance, patients that have severe occlusal wear, well, the AI is not perfect. It looks at different parameters, and so someone that's worn through their enamel, that whole top of the tooth might show up as red because it's looking at the difference in grayscale. And when you're showing patients their interproximal decay or their bone loss or things like that, and they'll say, well, are all those cavities? And you say, no, that's where you've worn away your tooth deep into your tooth, and there's no decay there. It's just where your tooth is worn down.
Yep.
And then that starts a conversation about, well, can I repair that? Or, patients maybe want to do something about it, or at least find out more about that. And then that can lead to other treatment like Invisalign or, cosmetic treatments and things like that. It can start a whole nother level of conversation. And that just brings the point. It doesn't take the dentist's brain out of the situation. You still have to use your brain. It's just another tool. It's a very useful tool. It's not perfect though. So things like wear facets and stuff like that, you look at it, it'll highlight it for you. And then it's your job to kind of be the person that is educating the patient and having the conversation and finding out how this ties into other things the patient may want. So and when Trish said earlier that the cost of the software, which isn't a significant cost though, it's far outweighed by the benefits in patient care, and the benefits in office revenue
and success.
Yeah, successfully treating patients, making them engaged and happy in your practice.
And wanting patients to be comprehensive. I think that's like a really great thing, is instead of just looking for one area or this area, you can really comprehensive focus, and it is genuinely highlighted for us.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a really great point Trish just made, because patients in general are not happy when you're just treating things reactively. They're far less happy as patients when they come in, oh, you have a cavity. Next time they come in, oh, you got this other thing we got to treat. So if you can engage patients, and the software is one of the great ways to do that, a way to engage patients and talk about give them the 1,000-foot view of their oral health. And when you combine it with other technologies that you have, like intraoral cameras or intraoral scans, you can really get patients talking about how they want to be treated easily, and give them, when they see the pictures and the AI layout and everything, you can really get a great conversation going about their desires and what they want. And it leads to more comprehensive treatment, or at least finding out how the patient wants to be treated. If they want to be treated comprehensively, if they want to be treated reactively, it's a game changer in that realm.
That's awesome. I want to pivot a little bit here, and I want to start thinking about the future of AI, right? Not just in general, but within your practice.
Yeah.
So what are, I guess, some of the areas or how you'd like to see AI evolve in your practice? Like, let's think in the next couple of years. Are there some components of the AI that you would like to see change? Are there something, more broadly that you'd like to explore? Because as you know, we all use AI every single day, right? And in the things that we're watching on TV, the chat GPTs of the world. So naturally that will happen with, your Detect AI. So I'd love to kind of hear what you'd like to see that become.
Oh gosh, it would be great so right now we've got the caries detection, the cavity detection, bone loss detection, and it can detect, calculus and things like that. And and abscesses and all kinds of things like that. It would be great to see it be able to also examine panoramic in CTs.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be a game changer too. We take a lot of CTs on patients. We take a lot of PANs and do orthodontic kind of diagnosis. That would be great as well. And then to be able to kind of give you differential diagnosis on things, I think as the software gets more robust and we're able to pack it with different types of learning where it could say this is a cyst or this is a mucus retention cyst or you know um, this is internal resorption or external resorption or where if it could give you a differential diagnosis about things, I
Absolutely.
think that would be an amazing add-on to the Videa Health.
That's the beauty of this, Dr. Kave, because not too long ago it was just caries detection, right? And then
Yeah.
it's evolved so significantly. And you're right. I mean, every day the team behind the product, we're looking at ways to really address the real world challenges and the needs of your practice and many others. And you kind of named out several things that are actually already there or in development, which is exciting. And then we look beyond just the detections, right? And beyond the diagnostic support, you can look into things like improving operational efficiency, right? VideaAI is kind of looking into other ways to help support that from a practice standpoint. Revenue cycle management, a really big pain point in all of dentistry.
Oh,
That's the great thing about the VideaAI and AI in general, is that it goes beyond just that foundational support and reinforcement. It goes into thinking from a holistic standpoint, how can we help support and influence, at the start of the day, the patient journey throughout, beyond. And so that's, I think, really what we're as a company looking to do. And it's great to see that is something that would benefit you and that you're thinking about. And that is important as we obtain your feedback from other customers of ours and partners of ours, is really innovating the product to address, what would support you in day to day. So honestly,
is Videa Health
Video.
Videa Health looking outside the X-ray realm into practice management and things like that?
I think many players are, and yeah, we would be limiting, the capability and the objective if we didn't. So without saying anything in terms of our roadmap, absolutely. I think it would be worthwhile for any AI platform to consider that, because the difference is we have access to actual oral health. We understand, what you're recommending. We can help identify and assist you in detecting things. And so it makes sense to really keep that a consistency and really exploring how we can support that journey. So I want to end with one last question to both of you. And that is, what advice would you give to other practices that may be resistant or fearful or hesitant to adopt a tool? Like, what were some of the things that you learned or wished you had known as you were maybe discovering what AI could do for you, and as you're making the decision to implement it? What advice would you give?
Oh God, that's a good question.
I think I would say, with all technology, as we're a little bit in our second half of our lives, pretty much here, and we've lived through a lot of technology changes, and I don't think this is a phase. You think of like your little kids loving princesses or certain things, and it's not a phase. It's like you got to jump in and go for it, because it's going to move ahead without you. What's that Ferris Bueller quote? Life goes pretty fast, and if you don't stop, you got to go with it. You got to jump in, and you really got to learn. You got to keep learning. And I think that being someone who was hesitant and didn't really want to do it, just seemed like something else I had to do. It's amazing what we've found, and it's amazing how, staying in front or on top of that technology wave is really allowing us to improve. And I think that's the goal for the practice, and for our patients and for our team, is always to learn and always to get better.
Mm-hmm. We get the hesitancy, we've been through all kinds of different technology and equipment stuff that's come through and been a fad. And I think that's why dentists are hesitant to move forward with new technology and new equipment and stuff like that. I mean, the great thing is you don't need any new equipment for this. But once you implement this in your office, and I understand being afraid, my team's going to be pissed at me. It's another thing, it's another thing we're going to do.
Yep.
But the great thing is the team, they love this. I mean, it makes their jobs easier. It makes because they're all people, they got into this because they like people and they like helping their patients, and this really helps motivate patients. And so they see that it makes their life easier. It makes them better providers for their patient. And and they actually, initially they were pissed, right? Initially they're like,
I think you mean upset.
initially they were hesitant. But as soon as they started using it, I mean, that changed like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it really flipped a switch and made their jobs, I think, more fun for them.
Yeah.
And they really appreciate it.
I think the advice would just be go for it and try to stay ahead of it and keep learning. And I mean, you guys have updated the software already since we've had it, and it's getting better. And there was even a little tiny learning curve to that adjustment, but it's easy to use. It's user friendly, and it's probably, I bet we've been really happy with it. So I'm happy to use it.
Great advice. Thank you both so much for such a fun conversation. It's so nice to hear just sort of an authentic perspective. I love to see a practice adopt a tool that I'm passionate about and understand the impact, but I'm biased, right? So it's nice to really hear that directly from you. How can our listeners learn more about Madison Smile Solutions? Are you on LinkedIn? What's your website? Direct us there so we can, stay in tune and find out what you guys are up to.
So we are MadisonSmileSolutions.com. We are on Instagram and Facebook right now. I think personally we're both on LinkedIn. Great. And we try to update it pretty frequently. Our pages. Dr. Cave does amazing work, a lot of cosmetic work, a lot of sedation work, a lot of Invisalign. And, we are really genuinely believe we're in that life-changing business of dentistry, whether it's helping someone feel good about smiling or just be able to eat again. And it's just neat to be able to share that with the world and be able to, write about it or write about this cool new technology that we've invested in and learned about so that we can, help us, help our team, help our patients. And I think that's really what's great about it, and where you can find out more, because we do write and blog and post. Dr. Kai, sometimes our kids help us with our blogs, our social media.
It's a family business, huh?
There's a lot of subscribe.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. You both are wonderful to speak with, and we're excited to partner up. And to our listeners, thank you for joining our episode today on Video Health's Mic Drop. We look forward to the next one. Yes. All right. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All done.